Okay. All right. So now we're live. All right. So hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so glad that you all could join this webinar with me and Aaron, the founder of Cloudmattr. And as we all know, it is way more than a marketing automation platform. It's a customer engagement platform, as we all know. And today we will be actually Aaron, not me, not really me, but Aaron will be talking more about the new features about from the platform and of course what else to expect. But today he will be paying extra attention to the new flow builder that was just newly released, right, Aaron?
That is correct.
All right,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right,
So yeah, let me just share my screen, and then that will help
all
explain
right,
what I'm talking about.
sure.
Cool. Let me know when you can I share it now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Cool. I wasn't sure if you were sharing. Okay. Sorry, I had a bunch of YouTube
No
videos
worries.
open.
It's
Okay.
okay.
There we go. Now we're good to go. Okay. Let me know
Okay,
you can see it.
sure. Hmm, it's not showing up yet. Okay, there we go. All right.
Cool.
So I'll mute
Perfect. It
myself
should
and
be
then go
the
ahead.
cool. Yeah, it should be the roadmap here. Yes. So I know right now here in the roadmap, since we're talking about new updates, it's still in progress because we're adding even more things to it. So I'll kind of go over those as well. But I'll right now we recently released about 2 days ago um, the flow builder. So rather than before we had a generic pretty boring form style to build campaigns, but I think that a lot of people are more used to this type of style. So I kind of like show what we have here, and this is the flow builder right now. It's still a work in progress. Like I said, we're still adding more nodes, I guess we can call them, more functionality. So right now it's pretty much migrated over from what we had before into what into this type of style in the UI, and then we'll be adding some new things that I'll talk about from the roadmap. If you remember that there was used to be like a direct flow, you would just add a new tag, a new message, and it was a little bit back and forth, and I wasn't really, it was the first iteration. I wasn't happy with it, so I kind of like improved. I think the experience for users. So I'll kind of start from the top. This is our basic onboarding email flow that we have. Um, this part is going to go away because of some new features we're going to be adding. But so for example, here, we pull in the any event that you have um, that you're tracking, you can use under the event trigger, and you pretty much is just pulling in. And I'll show it in a little bit building one out. So I just kind of wanted to show what it looks like when you actually have things in there. You can include and exclude segments here, same thing like before, and then from there you can actually start pulling in messages. Before you could only use like for example, you could make a email campaign or a um, in-app campaign or a later on a text message campaign, but that wasn't a good way of doing it. So instead we merged it so that you can have multiple types of messages to a user within the same campaign, and that's what you can see now here. So for example, here I have plain text campaign messages. Those are really the ones that we're using, and that's the actual experience here. So and then so it's going from one, it's direct flow right here, and there's just a delay between 2 minutes when it first a user signs up, then after that a day, and then another 2 days after that. So the it's pretty simple, I think, and the way that you can set it up, right? You do the settings here, and you actually build a message here. Um, this skip event, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's a way to um, skip a message if something happens. For example, let's say this is the same onboarding campaign, but we also, but let's say in this message we have how to, I don't know, how to create a board. So let's say this is like, hi user, have you tried out our boards feature? I don't know, I'm just making this up. Here's the documentation and some, you know, more details. But obviously, we don't want to send it to people that already have a board because they already know how to, maybe use it. So we could just add in here, well, we're tracking switches. I think which one can we use? Should be in here somewhere. Board created. There. So now if a user is going through this flow, but let's say within the, obviously that they didn't do this, but let's say within the 2 minutes that they signed up, they created a board. A day later, they're gonna be getting sent this message, but now because of this skip event, they will not. They'll go to the next one. I don't. Hopefully that makes sense, but it kind of helps, not sending messages that are not important for a user anymore, and just improves the I guess the personalization where you're not sending things that people don't need.
Yeah,
So
that makes
that's
sense.
cool. And then from there,
So,
obviously, sorry, go ahead.
sorry. No, because I'm trying to look into it because it's a bit small on my end. But
Oh,
this one,
sorry.
it makes it more oh, there you go. It zoomed in.
Yeah, yeah, you can
All
zoom
right.
in. Yeah, so
All right, perfect.
yeah,
Okay. So
you
it makes
actually
everything
have,
more efficient.
yeah. So I can, I can drag.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have a really big campaign, for example, you could
Mm-hmm.
do a huge chain. You
Yeah.
have a little mini map here on the bottom right, if you can see
Oh,
that.
that's cool. Yeah, I can see
Uh,
it.
and then we can center it here. We can zoom out that way if you wanted. Zoom in. I think there's a limit. Yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, if you really need it, yeah, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then drag it again. So that I think that kind of
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty helpful. And then at the end, a goal, if you have one. And for here, let's say subscription started, and there you go. That's a small campaign flow, that a journey that you might have for an onboarding campaign. Um, so and then I think hopefully the delay is pretty straightforward. You can have you can select whatever you want in unit of time, and then just the amount. So that's, and then I think I've mentioned all the features like before. Yeah, we don't have any, but like filtering to specific, like let's say you wanted to do a sign up for, if they signed up through like email and you were tracking the method, for example, we could select it. It's not available for, we don't track that. But let's say you wanted to have method and then condition equals email, then it would only activate this campaign for users that signed up through email, but will not activate for users that maybe signed up through Google authentication or Facebook or something like that, if you had third-party authentication. So now I can kind of, so this is kind of like the way it looks now. And then yeah, again, it's yeah, totally draggable and everything like that. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I'll jump into an actual brand new. This is our fake workspace here. So I'll make a new workspace. I'll make a new campaign, and then the same exact UI, obviously. So again, we'll just this doesn't really matter, but yeah, you would select where you want your email to come from. I'll just make a fake name. And then here we drag it in there. We don't have anything tracked here since this is a fake campaign. I mean, a fake workspace for testing. But I wanted to like just go through like the, if we want to use it'll just, yeah, once you drop it in, it'll automatically link to what's supposed to, unless you don't want to. Then you can just click the little link and delete it, or you can click on the actual node and delete that as well. Just with the button. I mean, like the delete like keyboard. So I'll just drag that in there again, and then I wanted to show like the different messages that we can use. So I think in the last one, there you go. So in the last one, this is kind of like just plain text email. So you can do everything that you would be able, like just plain old email, no HTML. So we can just have that there. And then let's say we want an actual rich text email. That one we could do. We can do whatever we want here, and then we can. So this is like a starter template, not just to play around with. But if you wanted to, you can actually start building out your email here. Or I think initially when I first introduced this, we kind of went over it, and you could import your own
Template.
email. Yeah, you can own template. So you just copy and paste it here from wherever email builder you use. And then you can just click on save, add a subject line, and then close that out.
Are there templates are there templates already that are there? Like for are there some ready templates already?
No, that's not right now. That's one of the things I have to once we kind of like start enhancing everything. Right now we're in the building of new features kind of process, and after that I want to enhance, like improve some of it. And one of the things is templates is one thing. And another thing, for example, I could consider enhancement is integrations, like direct integrations with a lot of different tools. So that's another thing. Yeah.
All right, cool.
And then the in-app message. So here we can, this is gives you a preview of what it would look like. I mean, you can do whatever you want here. It doesn't really matter. Disable that. This is the one that it would just kind of like a little modal would show on the actual screen. If you wanted to have, like, for example, in onboarding, sometimes you sign up for an app and then you get a welcome email. A welcome a video, right? Like, thank you for signing up for whatever app. And then you can embed a YouTube video or something like that here. That way people can play the welcome or quick start video that you have or something like that, or whatever you really want. It could be an offer or anything like that. And you can, if you want, you can use a button to actually send someone to an offer somewhere. So that's the third type of message. And I had mentioned that one of the things that I have in a roadmap is SMS text. So after that, it would be again one of these grayish boxes here, and you could have SMS message or SMS in general, and then just drag it in there, and then be able to do whatever you want here. So hopefully that helps. And then again, the goal, if you wanted to have a goal, we don't have anything there, but yeah. So that kind of has kind of what we have right now. I don't know if you have any questions to that, but if not, I can go into the other features we're adding for these campaigns.
Oh, I think this is just a very it was a question I received earlier, but it's not through YouTube. But when you do this, when you're on the flow, and let's say like the internet goes off, do they auto save or as you go?
So it's saved as local storage, meaning like if you like just leave it like this, but no auto save. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about if we should. The reason why it's not auto save is because if you're editing a message and you do something, you like, let's say you delete it, the message, or you accidentally add or delete something, it would automatically save. So you know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah.
So then it would be
the trouble
deleted, right? Then it would be deleted.
Yeah.
So, and that's the reason I haven't added autosave in this. But I think that if that is something that would if that was causing issues, you can definitely do that. But right now we just don't. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And then so I'll just jump into some of these. So for example, in this case, one of the things that we're going to be working on is user property splitting. So it's pretty much split testing. So for example, if let's say we wanted to have like let's say like this, right? Like where it goes from two different splitting messages into two different. This is not supported because yes, it's not. But for example, let's say you have two different properties. Like let's say your revenue is you want to have revenue over $5,000 users, and then users that are under 5,000 dollars or something like that. I don't that really. If you wanted to do that, something like that, you could. And then you would be able to split two different messages to two different types of users. So in a way, it's segmenting it out, but not exactly. Like, let's say trial users is one thing that might happen, right? Like a trial user might be true or false. So you might want to split the messaging to people that are actively already a user and people that are not, or people that, like, again, like revenue or any sort of like user property that you want to split it, a test for. Maybe you want to like send different messages to gender and male and female. If you want to have a e-commerce store and you want to send a coupon for a male coupon for that, or a different message, right, with different products in the email, something like that. That would be another thing you could probably want to split it by. And then the other thing for splitting is just A/B testing. So, for example, adding a node here for testing, A/B testing, and you'd be able to say, I want 70% into my group A and 30% in group B, or 50-50 if you wanted to do that. That would be something that would be this A/B split testing. If you wanted to test different flows or different messages. And then finally, the other thing is user property changes. So, for example, right now, you can only fire on a campaign when they do something, right? When they sign up, when they create a new board, or whatever the event may be. But one of the other things is like status change. So, for example, let's say you have a user that is a trial user, and you update through your JavaScript SDK or API, they go from free to paid. That might be something you might want to like activate on, right? Like hey, thanks for I don't know, congratulations on upgrading your account. Here are the new features that, or whatever that may be. Or if they went from $500 revenue to 10,000 for whatever reason, you want to send them a specific message like, hey, you spent so much, here's an offer, something like that. That would be a different type of trigger to start your campaign rather than just being an event. Obviously, this is like the main one that we have right now, and the other one is kind of like to give you a little bit more customizable control on how to fire campaigns. So those are the things that we're kind of right now on for the campaigns. I think over time, we'll definitely, like I said, another thing is the SMS messaging in there as well, and then just kind of like you said, right, the enhancements, like, is it going to have auto save? Is it going to have other things like the UI? I think right now, this type of design I think it looks really good, at least way better than
Yeah,
when we had when
the
we
zoom as
started.
well is really nice. I thought it was
Yeah,
really tiny.
yeah. No, I wanted to make sure you can see the whole flow in one
Yeah.
little thing. But yeah, you can definitely zoom in if it's like a big form, like if we have a lot of different
Yeah.
settings. Yeah.
Oh,
So
and I
yeah,
saw
that's
as
really.
well oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I
No,
sorry. I saw as well in your roadmap. I think when I was looking through earlier, you guys will also be having the advanced predictive analytics. Is that correct?
yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I can go over that one. I think last time we already went over the dashboard
Oh yeah.
updates. So it was just the funnel.
Oh, that
So
one.
the funnel, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the checklist. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
from the top, like how many people viewed it, how many people are like dismissing your checklist because they don't like it or whatever. How many people are completing step 1, step 2, step
Mm-hmm.
3, finally, how many are finally completing the entire um, checklist. So that's the funnel. It was just an example. The funnel will probably be vertical rather than
Mm-hmm.
this way. But and then this one, the user journey one that I kind of talked about last time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just wanted to cover that one real quick. But yeah, we already went over it. And then the
Mm-hmm.
advanced step, this one's gonna take a while because it's it's pretty advanced. So okay, so I can go over it real quick though. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the advanced predictive analytics is going to be it's going to be a lot of, some of it is going to be reporting on, like for example, this type of thing, like a segment report showing like the number of users, or like that are like potential value, like what are the good ones, what are the bad ones. So if and the other reason why we need this is for campaigns. So for example, um, let's go with propensity modeling real quick. So it's much more easier to explain this one. So here in this image is randomly found online. We have low, medium, and high, right? We want to like analyze all your data, and then from there, using user properties and events that they take action on. Page views, how many pages do they visit, which pages, um, how many, what products are they buying, how many products, how often, how recent, like all this kind of stuff together, and then give each user a propensity score. So for example, 0 to 1 usually that's how it works. So for example, we give someone a 0.01. You probably are going to be assigned in the low, but maybe you give someone a 0.9. That's pretty high, right? So it's someone that's you should probably, those are the ones that you should really, if you have a lot of users and you want to like be really targeted on like who is probably the most likely to buy. um, Obviously the high, so you probably want to focus a lot on them. Maybe the low, either they're probably going to abandon, or maybe they're just not interested, and maybe that's a case where like you start cleaning up your user list and you really don't want to have them, um, because your emails are going to start bouncing, or they're going to be ignored, or whatever the case may be. Um, so for example, here you say, oh, I want to, like in the campaigns type of side of things, right? Let's say here we have a segment here, and you can actually go into your segments, and we kind of click on that real quick. And I'm like, okay, let me make a new segment, and let me see, add a user condition for propensity score here, right? In the key, and then I can say equals, I don't know, high. Now I can actually have a campaign for all the really like all the high propensity score users that I want to really highly target. That might be something you want to do. So that's kind of the thought behind this, right? So and then I'll go to the top one here, and it's just like grouping users together that are, you can, like for example, obviously you can segment by, if you have information like gender, right? You want to segment groups into two genders, or multiple genders, or you want to target by age groups, like 18 to 24, whatever, like, or 50 and above or something like that. Those are obviously segments as well. But these would be dynamics, segments that we would generate. That way you can target them and know what attributes are being used to segment them, and it might make it a little more automatic, rather than you always manually like analyzing data and trying to come up with these segments that might work or might not work. And these might be segments that you can test out and use, that are generated for you, rather than you doing any of the work. And then trend prediction, I think this one's pretty standard in a lot of different analytics tools that kind of do it. So, for example, predicting that they're going to abandon, or they're going to, so it might be that case of like people that are like, you need to, either activate more, actively go after them, or just let them go, because there's no way to rescue them. This is also related to something we have, that I didn't want to add here. That is something that might happen, and it's called uplift. So for example, in uplift, it might be a case of like using, maybe even replacing this one, in a case where we're using, the same type of data, but in a different model, to, rather than like saying, oh yeah, these are good users or these are bad ones, is saying which ones are going to make me more money, which ones are going to uplift my conversion or my revenue. And those are the ones that, like, okay, these are the ones that are, I'll make a 20% more revenue, but I have to give them an offer. So now you know which ones are going to buy no matter what, which ones are going to buy if they just need an extra nudge, or which ones are not going to buy even if you did give them anything. So it helps a lot more. Obviously, for any of this to work, and I think I messaged you guys about what I was talking about here. It requires a lot of data. It requires users that have a lot of data. So it's probably going to be something that isn't going to be available for a lot of people that have 500 users, 100 leads or something like that, because
it's like the
one,
big one. Yeah.
it requires a lot of user properties. It requires a lot of actions being tracked, and it requires a lot of users in general. So this is going to be something that's going to be, like I know we have all those plans. Like it's probably going to be just minimum for the highest plan, because again, the volume that's needed for this to even be accurate is high. So for example, I kind of mentioned it that we're going to be piloting this with an e-commerce company. They have about 400,000 users, and more. I mean, they have more, but that's the those are the numbers that we're talking about. And the 50,000, I think that's what we have with you guys, is like is okay. It works that in that level. But yeah, like 100, we're talking about hundreds or even the thousands, low thousands. It's not enough. But yeah, this is something that is going to take a while, because it's going to be a lot of testing, a lot of developing, and it's going to be a very long-term thing that we're going to be working on. But it's going to be, in my opinion, very, very powerful. And we'll be competing with like these like very big players that have this type of feature that is not very common in a lot of email or what other marketing automation or customer engagement platforms. So that's one of the things that we're kind of right now planning out and designing everything before even developing. So it's going to be a while for this one to release. And then the other one that I had mentioned was the SMS that's already planned out to be added.
Right.
Yeah, no ETA on that one, but it will start probably when these two are live. So maybe within a month, probably. And it'll be using. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So they could expect this in like next month or like the end of next month. Correct.
Yeah, within 30 days, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably something like that. And I was going to say in this one, it would be, I think maybe I mentioned it last time, it'd be using Twilio, for example. People can just enter their API key, and then they can just start sending out their messages that way, kind of like with our SMTP, so you can use your own email server. And then the other ones that we have are more long-term, and there haven't been added because want to prioritize these two that were more, I'd say, powerful. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's. I think that's what I have so far. I don't know if you have any questions.
Oh no, my questions were earlier as well. We were just doing questions while you were also presenting.
Oh, sorry. And I'm trying to see if I have anything else.
Sure.
No, I think that's the majority of it. I think. And I think one of the things I wanted to mention here in the campaign builder is that this campaign type is going to go away. It's a little too restricted in this kind of style.
You'll be able to customize that from what I can see, or
so kind of. So for example, maybe I'll show. For example, you could say this is considered a direct campaign, right? Because it's just going to a straight flow. But before, let's say recurring would be like a sign up happens, or let's say a failed payment. I don't know, something happens, send a message. Happens again, send another message. So you like a loop, right? And then an announcement was just like, okay, if send out the message, if no matter what, like just send it, like just mass
Yeah.
message everyone, right?
Mm.
But it's too restrictive now that we have this type of thing. It doesn't really make
Yeah.
sense. So what we're gonna do is, like, for example, um, let's just go campaigns again. Let's just get rid of all that. So just make a new campaign here. And then let's say here we need to have a event trigger, but we don't want, let's say we just want to send a mass email to everyone. We don't even need this. So we just like add a message and then send, save, create,
Mm.
done. That's an announcement, right? But
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense to have to set it here. But
That's
let's say
true.
recurring, right? Like recurring is like, okay, well, now how do I get this to be recurring? And that's one of the things that that's being like, it's going to be released probably tomorrow, or
Wow.
end of week. Yeah, tomorrow, end of week. Yeah. And so, for
Yeah.
example, in this case, let's say we wanted to send one every time someone signs in, which is terrible. You don't want to send someone an email every single time they sign in, but that's what we did.
Yeah, but we've
Um,
received emails like that.
yeah, yeah. So maybe every time they purchase, right? Maybe a receipt or something.
Mm.
Maybe that one makes more sense. So we say, okay, boom, purchased. And then we say, okay, now the message is going to be thank you, whatever. Um, and now we're going to have a new node to connect here.
Hmm.
So we'll have a repeat node. You pull it in. So you pull
Oh,
it
okay.
in,
Then they
and
can just
then
drag it
and
in
then
there.
and then you loop it, right? That way it knows that it's going to be repeating loop.
Hmm.
And now that that's going to be done, well, now we don't need recurring either. So it's simplifying these options, but automating it within this
Yeah.
builder. So moving a lot of stuff into the builder or out of it, whatever, So I think that one, again, that's why we're going to get rid of this campaign type.
Yeah. I think that makes
Um,
sense. I think it's going to be easier for them to control it without having to look at
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some of these, there's no way to, like. I mean, we have to have a name,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, and this one gives you actually, I think this one's a very, very useful if you wanted to
Hmm.
send a campaign from, let's say, customer support. If you
Hmm.
had a different email for sales, a different email for, let's say, some
Hmm.
people use a CEO email for a lot of the onboarding or something like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, or team member emails. You can do whatever you want here. So I think
Hmm.
that we need to have that there. But
Hmm.
the campaign type, I think, is one that doesn't really make sense anymore with this new release. Enable days, I think, is still pretty good if you want to just do be a lot of
Yeah, I
business
think that makes
to
sense with
business.
the days.
Yeah, and
Unless
I
you
think
want to message people on the weekends.
yeah, and then it might be like a business to consumer B2C might be okay with it,
Mm.
and a lot of businesses that B2B want to like to do these. So it just depends, obviously, like whatever you want to do. Maybe you
Hmm.
just want to do it Monday
Hmm.
and that's it, right? I don't know. But yeah, I think that was one thing I wanted to mention because it's just gonna like disappear. But then
Hmm.
things are gonna start appearing on the side options here that
Hmm.
will yeah. I think that was the last thing I wanted to mention.
All right. That's actually pretty straightforward. And I'm sorry, my dogs, I don't know why they want to
Yeah,
bark at this hour.
no
There's no
problem.
reason for them to bark at this hour. All
But yeah,
right.
I think oh yeah, let me stop sharing. There we go. If anything else comes up, and I'm gonna be adding some videos. I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah.
To kind of like outline this I think once we finish the campaign, because there's a lot of things that are changing. For example, if I make a video today and then the campaign type disappears, well, then the video's already out and it doesn't work anymore. So
And people
I'd
will be
rather wait.
asking questions.
Yeah, I'd rather wait a little bit and then have all those different like features, especially the split testing that I'm going to be adding, which I think will help a lot with improvement of campaign performance if people want to do a lot of A/B testing with their messaging.
All right. So when can they expect these changes again, Aaron? Sorry, just to
Uh,
recap
so
it.
So campaign, so the split testing, the split by user properties and all that stuff, probably within 2 weeks, I'd
All
say.
right.
The recurring campaigns, the direct campaigns, all that, the being removed, the campaign type being removed, probably tomorrow.
All
Um,
right.
and then the dashboard reporting improvements, uh, end of next week. Um, so then, and then over time, I want to start adding more and more reporting. Um, so it's just a matter of like finding what people need more insights on, and then and then finally the advanced predictive analytics. I said again, that one is going to be a big one, and I can't really say, it might take months to finalize something like that, to get it out of, like, I guess you'd call it a private beta for specific users that you know we can work with to do something like this. Um, and then SMS, probably within 30 days as well, maybe a little longer depending, but yeah, within 30 days as well. So everything except for the analytics,
The
advanced
analytics
predictive stuff,
is
is
within
going to
the
be
month.
within a month. Yeah, everything else that is gonna, again, I can't say.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Aaron, for giving us your time today and showing us the new flow builder. Flow builder. I don't say
I
full. Why is it a tongue twister for me?
was
Flow
gonna ignore it,
builder.
but yeah.
Right. So if anyone, I think a lot of people will be watching towards, afterwards as well, like during the replay. So if they have any questions, make sure to hit up Aaron. He's also in the community and you can directly message him. He'll be more than happy to answer your concerns. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Aaron, for today. And I know it's really early on your side as well, but I hope coffee really helped you.
Yeah,
So
this
our
this time's pretty good. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching and for joining us today. So bye, everyone, and bye, Aaron.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.